Oh, here we are, hey?
Here we are. What do you got? You got tea?
T, yeah. You aren't asking me what I'm wearing today. The last couple of weeks you're asking me for a fashion show.
Okay, well, what's your fashion show today then?
Just a black tee with a bit of the old plaid.
OOTD. You got to give
What,
us an OOTD.
what's that?
An OOTD. This is my outfit of the day. Bum,
This is
bum,
my
bum.
outfit, and then just some like khaki bangers that I found at the
Oh
op shop
yeah,
yesterday. So yeah, just and then just
bargain.
obviously I had some Connies on, my 2026 Pride Connies. So I buy the Connies every year, the Pride edition. So I have a lot of Converse shoes, probably more than I want to admit.
The Rainbow Steps podcast would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we record this podcast, the Awabakal people, and extend that respect to elders past, present, and emerging. We would also like to pay respect to any Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander peoples listening and acknowledge the lands you are on today. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land.
Welcome to the Rainbow Steps podcast, where we talk all things faith, life, and trying to follow Jesus through all the chaos. My name is Sophie, my pronouns are she, her, and I am the online coordinator here at Adamstown Uniting Church.
And I'm Jord. My pronouns are they, them, and I'm an elder at Adamstown Uniting Church.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're starting to record our pod on a Sunday afternoon after church because
Hmm.
Soph's about to go on placement this week.
Yes.
So our energy levels are probably going to be a bit lower than usual, but we're going to bring it, aren't we?
We are, and the sermon's fresh in our brains because
Yeah.
when um when I message Rev Greer every week after we record the pod just to ask her to double check that all of the content's okay and that we're not saying anything that isn't correct or anything. And she messaged me back and she said, maybe you pair should review the Bible reading before you actually talk about it because we didn't know what the Bible reading was called last week. So the Bible reading for last week was the parable of the sower. The Bible reading from this week is called, where is it? I literally just had it and then I lost it. Where is it? The parable of the wheat and the weeds. So very straightforward. It's literally
Yeah.
just called the parable
Yeah.
of the wheat and the weeds. Me with my Bible. Look, it's got flowers on it. That's
We
so
knew
cute.
that. We knew that. We knew that. Yeah, we were just pretty much testing Greer, weren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just making sure that she like reviewed and did her job, So
Jordan and I were having a giggle. We were on the tech desk this morning together, and obviously last week we were talking about how sometimes, Greer's sermons are great and we love them. We just wish, or George just wishes that, Greer could give us a little bit more of an answer. And then, and then Greer halfway through the sermon goes, "So how do we do this?" And I turned to George and I just had to laugh because I was like, "Well, there you go. There's your
yeah,
feedback,
it
George.
was one
She's
of them
telling you how to
weeks
do it
where,
now."
yeah, I felt like it was just about me, because there was there was some more answers today, I think. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Mm.
So I've forgotten what the questions were. Let's have a look. I had it up on the I've got my two screens, so I'm on my big screen today, and then my little laptop screen's down here. And I literally had it up
While
before
you're
with the
looking,
questions
I'm
on it.
just going to tell the story. This morning we were on Tech Desk. Oh, lordy lord.
Oh my gosh.
So we're like, everything was going fine until we're like trying to get the projector going and everything, and there just was no go, it was a no-go zone. We weren't getting connection from the computer to the projector. Tried everything, I mean everything, all the settings, everything that usually works was no go. So we had to start the service and we sort of started to potter along with our hymn books. and got the first song down pat, which was all right. And I thought, geez, this is going to really suck without the projector. There was a lot of stress going on behind the tech desk for Soph. Um, and you were just going to town, weren't you? And then,
Oh,
bam, this golden moment comes in where Soph gets under the desk, and it's just like seriously one
yeah.
chord, and we gave each other like the biggest high five ever.
My
And it
hand
was,
still hurts, George,
I know, my
from that
hand hurt
high
too. I was like, oh, we went a bit too far with that,
five.
but it was just a beautiful moment where you got that one chord, and I'm like,
Yeah.
seriously?
It's crazy, like literally how one for whoa!
Whoa! Is
Oh
it
my
Blair Witch
goodness,
again? Is it
it
Blair
is.
Witch?
And I'm and well, I don't even know Blair Witch.
I
Hello,
know, just do it.
everybody.
I'm scared. I'm out in
I'm
the bush.
scared
Oh,
in the
there's something
wilderness.
behind me.
There's
Whoa,
something
that
there.
was totally Blair Witch. Get
Was
closer.
it?
Come,
What?
yeah, come closer and
Oh,
be like, I'm scared.
oh.
What do we do? And you got to move the camera around.
I'm gonna make people motion sick. I'm not doing. I get motion sickness sometimes. That's why
I do too, yeah.
whenever I watch the Zoom screen when people are using the camera like for the sermons, I'm like, stop moving the camera. I'm
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
motion sick. All right,
Well,
I just need to not.
Blair Witch would make you sick because it's like the actual whole thing is like she's just holding the camera there like that and moving around.
Oh gosh, no, definitely not.
I want you to watch Blair Witch one day, just so you know
I'll,
what I'm talking
I will
about.
have nightmares. I will literally have
It is
nightmares.
scary. It's very scary.
Yeah, not for me. Thank
So,
you.
what were the questions?
Oh, I can't find them, but let's just
I
talk
know it
about.
was like, okay, so how are you sowing your seeds basically?
Well, we talked last week about sowing the seeds and
Yeah.
tending
Oh,
to
I
the
mean the
soil.
weeds. Yeah.
And so obviously this week was about how the weeds grow in amongst the wheat, basically. And there's so in this parable, I'm just going to read straight from this Bible. This is the New Living Translation. And so they're in the field and they but that night, as the workers slept, his enemy came and planted weeds among the wheat, then slipped away. When the crop began to grow and produce grain, the weeds also grew. The farmer's workers went to him and said, Sir, the field where you planted that good seed is full of weeds. Where did they come from? An enemy has done this, the farmer exclaimed. Should we pull out the weeds? They asked. No, he replied. You'll uproot the wheat if you do. Let both grow together until the harvest. Then I will tell the harvesters to sort out the weeds, tie them into bundles, and burn them, and put the wheat into a barn. So,
Mm.
like, isn't it this like some of the wording sometimes, like Rhea was saying, some of the wording you go a bit like, oh, like that's a bit,
Mm.
like you take all of the bad things and you put them all together and you throw them away and you get rid of them. Um, but I really like how Rev Green made the focus on it's okay to have some of the weeds in your life. I really struggle with that, and I've really struggled with that as of late, where I think about and I worry about, oh my goodness, I have to be a good person all of the time. And, as much, and we all want to be good people, we all want to do the right thing all the time. But sometimes that just, it doesn't happen. It's human nature, right? I know one thing that I am really trying to improve myself on is that I am really bad at little white lies, which often turn and snowball
Wow. Okay.
and like all of that stuff. So like I'll say something to like, for example, to get me like out of something or, to
Yeah.
protect someone's feelings, and then it just like snowballs and it just goes and it just
Wow.
goes and it just goes. Um,
I'm
so
really
that's
proud of
one.
you for admitting that.
Oh,
That's deep.
it's something that I've been thinking about for a really long time. And
Have you
with
ever told me any?
any little white lies,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I don't think so.
Okay. Good.
I don't think so. But yeah, like I've just really always been bad at that because, I feel like I sometimes have to put up a front and you have to give the right answer and all of that stuff. So that's something within myself that I'm working on. That those are my weeds and amongst my wheat. Because like, it's like in the parable, they do just grow and sometimes you can't sort through them. If at least if you can acknowledge, okay, these are like this is the weed, this is the wheat, and then you can kind of as you harvest the wheat, you can take out the weeds. I feel like that's a little bit easier than trying to, like it says, to pull it all out in one go because when something's so deeply rooted into your personality, into your life, it takes a lot of work, you know, to kind of get all of that stuff out.
Mm.
I feel like I'm just talking myself around in circles.
No, no, I'm listening and I'm thinking and I'm relating to it,
Mm,
definitely. I just edit this out if it's not even relatable to what we're talking about. But this is how I related it this morning. Um, I've been having a really, really tough week.
mm,
Um, just different things in my personal life that have been really tricky. Um, I feel like I don't need to go into details. It's probably not the right place to go into details about my problems. But to say I'm okay, I'm not sick or anything like that. I've just had a really, really tough week. And when you have CPTSD like me, um, I felt like I related it to that because there can be a lot of weeds rooted in that personality where you're saying that there's these weeds that are so deeply rooted in with also these seeds, and this goodness, and there's this mixture inside of me, and sometimes, yeah, I don't really tell white lies, but my behavior, I can sometimes react in a way that is not what I really agree with on reflection. So I'll behave a certain way in the moment, and it's just reaction because of trauma.
mm,
Um, and that behavior is the weeds. It's that pain. It's that damage that's inside of me, and then so I behave in this way, and then I reflect on it as soon as is it's happened, and then I feel crap about it, and it's like I don't know, it's trying to learn to live beside the weeds. I think
mm,
that's how I sort of this morning took away trying to live beside them, but also not letting them grow as tall as your flowers maybe,
mm,
or your little wheat going on, or whatever you want going, the goodness in you, having it not grow as tall as the weeds.
mm,
Um, and every now and then trying to pull out a weed occasionally or slash it down a bit. But yeah, there's you can relate it to so many things, can't you? Like
mm,
everyone's going to take away a different thing. But what you were just saying then, I really relate to it because it's like there's different behaviors or there's different things inside of you that you're just like, oh, that's a bit of a weed.
mm.
So I did get more answers this week in the sermon. I felt
Good.
last week I think Greer left it a bit open, but then I
Mm,
can see what she's doing where she's bringing it back. Um, yeah, she's giving us cause for reflection, but also, and then coming in with the stories and it's pulling together.
yeah. It makes sense because as well, like obviously, Greer told us the story about how she pulled out the Mayflower bush, right?
Mm,
And I think that's a really good metaphor for sometimes you think that a certain experience or a certain trait of yours is
yeah.
a negative thing, and it can actually
Mm,
turn out to, if you work on it and you actually let it blossom and you discover what it is, sure, it might turn out to be something bad, but it also
yeah.
might be something that's really good.
Yeah.
Um,
I love that. That's like a metaphor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's preface it by saying that what? What are you laughing at?
No, I don't
Let
know.
um I only went I've never really we haven't really done a pod where we talk about ourselves and our lives. So
Mm,
people coming in might be curious, but I only went to I only did a little bit of year 8 at school. That's the
mm,
highest education I got. So sometimes, and I have brain damage too. So sometimes I go to say things and it'll be in my brain and I'm like, I've heard that, I know that, but it gets jumbled up. Um, so a metaphor. And what I was going to say is when I got sidetracked because of ADHD is, yeah, that she's pulled out, thought it was a weed. And what I was getting at, okay, righty, I'm on point. It's
you got there in
afternoon.
the end.
Yeah. That these weeds, right? Some of them aren't. You don't need to pull them out.
Mm,
Maybe they can be positives. So I know I'm relating this back to me again, but this is how we get through this, right?
yeah.
Um, I have. I have spent time. I've never really had friends, right? Because of my trauma. And I have close friendships now. And I have what's called attachment issues, which means that things can feel really, really intense to me. And so we're talking about that behavior that can be a bit odd or undesirable, but there is also things within the that behavior that are actually good, which are
Mm,
classed as a weed, but can be adapted to be something beautiful. So I feel things deeply. Okay, I think that's a bit of a weed, and I take my friendships really deeply and connection really deeply, and I feel things really intensely, which is can be unhealthy, don't get me wrong, but it is a beautiful trait too. And
mm,
a white lie that you tell, Soph, is sometimes a beautiful trait because you're trying to protect someone.
mm.
Did that make sense?
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely making sense.
Yeah,
It's
like
like,
and it's like not even it's traits that I thought that I had to hate in myself, like
mm,
that I wanted to get rid of. Like I don't want to be this needy child that feels so deeply and passionately and I love so deeply. And I feel connection so deeply and intensely. And I've always wanted to get rid of that. I'm like, oh, I can't tell anyone about it. I can't make friends. And that's why I never made friends and deep connections because the energy that it takes to um, have that and then process it with someone. So you have to have safe friends to process that with. And
mm,
um, yeah, that can be really intense. So maybe it's about just walking beside someone, having friends that you walk beside where those yeah, weeds can sort of flourish but also be maintained.
Time for a brain break. Pause and go and grab a drink or have a stretch. The episode will resume shortly.
I'm gonna tell you a story.
Oh, I'm
Um,
excited.
I
I didn't get popcorn. We're telling stories today because I'm having a
know,
bad week. I'm emotional, and you're
I know,
emotional too.
I know. It's an emotional week this week. Um, but yeah, so I'm gonna tell you a story. I, much like you, had a very, very hard time as a young adult making friends. I had a very steadfast group of friends all throughout high school. Basically, all of my close friends that I have now, I have known pretty much my entire life. Um, but and I've mentioned this before. I finished school and I came back. I went to school in France and then I came back to Australia before COVID hit. And then in COVID, I was working, doing my traineeship, my Cert 3 in early childhood education and care.
Yeah.
And I had completed that and I was feeling really lost, because I was so much younger than everybody else. I didn't feel like I fit in. I didn't feel like I was wanted, that I felt like I was only ever like an accessory. Like, I had my P's, so like they would go out drinking and I would, be the Uber and all of that stuff. And then I'd been there for a little while and this girl comes in one day for an interview, and because I completed my traineeship by this point, I was doing my diploma traineeship, so they're looking for new Cert 3 trainees. And this girl came in, and at first we did not like each other at all because we were complete polar opposites, right? And then we had a friendship that developed into really. Oh, the Alexa's going off. I was like, what's that noise? Alexa, stop. I've got my washing going on while we're doing this. So
Does
the
it
Alexa's
connect to
in.
the washing?
No, I tell it to say, hey, like I've got set me a timer and it sets me a timer.
Oh, okay. Right. Cool.
Fancy tech. Anyway, so I so me and this girl, we had, I'm gonna call it a codependent friendship, right? And it was us always all together all the time. And it's funny because I think about it now, and this is actually the second time. This was actually the second time I'd had a codependent friendship. I had one in high school, then I had this one like after high school, and then after this friend, I had another one. And so like
So,
that's
like, how does, sorry, is it,
no,
how does that look for you, Soph? Like, how does that look and feel for you? That codependency, just being together
yeah.
all the time, thinking
I
about
yeah,
thoughts,
so
ruminating thoughts, because,
yeah, so I think with me for the three friendships that I've had, I think it's like a it was always like a I need you, you need me kind of thing. Like we only ever had like each other, especially in, you know, not this,
survival.
yeah, it's like not this specific friendship, but the friendship that I had after. It was a there was a lot of projection there. She was a very, very close friend of mine. But she was 10 years older than me, so we had like a big sister little sister dynamic, and a lot of the things that I was doing in my life she didn't agree with because that's not what she was doing at my age. This was actually when Luce and I first met. I was really good friends with this girl, and she was saying we went on a trip together. And obviously, because Luce and I had just started dating, I wanted to stay connected. I wanted to chat to him, FaceTime him.
Yeah, of course.
And she was saying, you know, you need to take time to learn how to be by yourself. I don't know why you've just gone straight out of one relationship and gone straight into the next one. And I was like, well, I didn't really plan to go straight into a relationship. It just kind of happened. I
Yeah.
didn't plan for this. And to be fair, I mean, looking back on it, I was not very good at being by myself. That's probably why I had such problems with these codependent friendships. But anyway, back to this specific story. So I would have been, yeah, 18, 19 at this point. And me and this girl, we were so together all the time. I was always at her house or she was always at mine. We would message all the time, we would carpool, we would have our lunches together, all of that stuff. And it was because in this time I was in a pretty toxic relationship, and the partner that I had, she didn't want to spend a lot of time with me. So I felt like I just needed to fill that void, right? Like I said, I didn't like being by myself. And so this friend, she kind of just filled that gap for me, right?
Yeah.
And we it was kind of like when what am I trying to say? When I needed her, she wasn't there. But when she needed me, I needed to be there, like right that
Yeah.
second, like,
It's one-sided.
right there.
Yeah.
It was, yeah. And look, I knew she cared about me because, she would show it in other ways. She would always remember, all the things that I liked. She would always order me lunch, like we would always just hang out together and she would remember all these little things about me. But
Yeah.
then I got out of this toxic relationship, and because I was in a romantic relationship where I didn't kind of get the love and the care that I needed, I was often third wheeling like her and her boyfriend, right? So like we would like,
Yeah.
people would be like, look at this little throuple kind of thing. And then when I met Luce, so these two friendships, the other one and this one kind of had a bit of overlap. But when I first met Luce, obviously Luce wanted to spend time with me. Luce wanted to be with me all the time. Luce cared about who I was and what I was doing and where I was at and what I was up to. And Luce and this friend really butted heads because it kind of became
Of
like
course.
a him or me kind of situation. Like what, like, and obviously because I had become so codependent on this friend and uh by correlation her boyfriend, Luce was like, what are you doing? Like, why? Like, this is like
Yeah.
weird levels of like codependent, like uncomfortable. I was like, oh,
Oh,
that's
okay.
just
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
just that's just how we are. And Luce is like, this is not this is not normal. This is not normal. Um,
Yeah.
and because Luce and this friend butted heads so much, uh, there was so many times where she would like make me upset, but like she wouldn't care that she made me upset. And so Luce would be, obviously being the good partner that he is, he would be like, look, you're making Soph really upset. Like, can you just talk about this kind of thing? And ultimately, our friendship ended because she felt that I chose Luce above her. And this is actually the third time that this has happened. So the first friendship that I had in high school, this friend felt that I chose a partner over her. Then the same thing happened with this friend. I chose Luce over her, and then the same thing happened with the other friend. That, like,
Mm.
and so I think about that, and I'm going, wow, there was so many weeds there. There was so
Yeah.
much there, but I have learnt so much from these friendships, from these relationships. I've learnt so much. And sure, like, it happens three times, right? It happens three times.
Third time
But
lucky.
but to be fair, all of this stuff happened at a really formative time
Yeah.
in my life. My neural pathways are still forming. I'm still learning
Yeah.
about all of this stuff. And so for me to be able to look back and say, actually, hey, like these are the behaviors that I saw, and this is why,
Mm.
I had a scenario lately actually where a person that I was becoming friends with were developing the same traits that I was seeing in these other friends, and I actually went, hang
Okay.
on,
Yeah.
I cannot do this
Red
again.
flag. Yeah.
Red flag. Um, but it took three times
Yeah.
for me to be able to figure that out. But now, like all of the friendships that I have now are healthy, are
Yeah.
safe.
Yeah.
We and with LGBT plus friendships in the Gen Z generation, I feel we are a lot more comfortable being affectionate with each other, and people go, oh, they mistake that for like romantic affection. But I think that that's just a healthy and a comfortable form of love. Me and my female friends, we'll, cuddle and hug
Yeah.
and hold hands and stuff. And people are like, that's not normal. That's not normal. But
I
I
was
think
laying in
that
bed, like
that's
I
like,
was like spooning, I was snuggling with my best friend just the other day, like
yeah,
laying in bed together watching a movie. Like it's and like holding hands
mm,
and like I was laying with her on her, like not on top of her, but like laying on her chest
yeah,
and we were just holding hands watching a movie. But there is it's she's my platonic wife. That's her name on Messenger, my
platonic
platonic
wife.
wife. And
Yeah,
that's just our but there's like it's just comfort and connection.
yeah.
There's nothing, it doesn't have to be romantic.
That's right. And it's
So
like, but then
yeah.
it's like also knowing that difference between, okay, this is a healthy attachment, this is a healthy
Yeah.
affection, and then
Yeah.
this is a toxic affection, a toxic
Yeah.
attachment.
Yeah.
And that's taken me so long to learn. But
Yeah.
you know,
But it
the
hasn't taken you
weeds,
that long, really.
I
You're only in your
know.
20s. Yeah. Man, it's taken me a lot longer. A lot
Mm,
longer. But I think I've been affected differently, whereas I'm just like, I just like try and run away or um, back away emotionally. I'm having a crappy week, right? So I
mm,
have them weedy behaviors, and now I feel stupid and want to run away.
mm. But it's
Yeah,
okay. It's okay to
I
feel
know.
like that. It's okay to not be
Yeah,
okay. You know, George said that to me
yeah,
this morning. It's okay to not be okay. You got to take
yeah,
your own advice sometimes.
yeah,
'Cause yeah, life is hard.
yeah.
None of us are perfect. And
I'm not gonna run away.
no, you don't need to. All right, well, I think it's time for us to wrap it up. Is there anything else you want to say before we finish up, George?
I reckon we should do shout outs, right? Because
Shout
I
outs.
speak, yeah, because I speak to people through the week and they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I listened to the podcast and I really enjoyed it." So
Oh.
my first shout out will probably have to be to Candace.
Oh, yes. Hi,
Isn't that girl?
Candace.
Hi, Candace. Who else? Glenn and Scott listen. So hello, Glenn and Scott.
TJ said to me this morning that they really love listening to the pod. So, hey, TJ.
Yo, yo, yo. And there probably are only four listeners. No, no,
No,
Jack. Jack.
Jack listens. Our
Who?
our
Who?
um
Who?
Jack,
Mac?
yeah, our baptism
Jack?
babe.
Yeah, Jack. Yeah. Greer listens.
Greer listens only because I make her.
Yeah. Shout out, Greer.
Shout out, Greer.
Um, yeah. Whoever else listens, hello. If you want
Hello,
to
we love
shout
you.
out, drop us a comment below. Give us a like, give us a share. But drop down in the comments if you want to shout out. Just say shout out, and we'll shout you out on the next
You know
app.
what this
So
feels like? This feels like, you know, when you watch YouTube, like big YouTube creators, and they're like, and
yeah,
here are all the people that support me on the Patreon.
yes, Patreon. Yes, if you want to become a Patreon, it's $59.99. You get a custom shout out. We also have VIP tickets to 9:30 service on Sundays. So you sit in the front pew. You can actually sit next to the Reverend Greer. So shout out $59.99. Um, all funds go to charity and also they're tax deductible over $2.
They're joking, by the way.
They're joking. I'm joking. Church is completely free.
It's
And you
free.
can sit in the front pew next to Greer for free.
Yep.
hmm Um, what else? What are you going to name this episode? Deep and meaningful.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I just think about the titles, and it just comes to me. Like
Oh,
sometimes I'm just like, oh yeah, I don't know what to call this, and then I'll be like, oh yeah. My favorite one, the one that I'm
yeah.
really proud of, is this one time at church camp.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
I don't even know where
I
that's from, but my mum always used to say that. This
Oh,
one time at band
what?
camp. What's that
Um,
from?
American Pie.
Is it?
Yeah, this one
Oh.
time at band camp. I'm pretty sure it's American Pie.
Oh, okay. Is that rude?
Which, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's pretty rude. I wouldn't like
Do
show it
not
to your
recommend.
kids. Yeah. No, I feel like this has been a therapy session. I'm
It
feeling
kind of
pretty.
has, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. The weeds will grow, and the wheat will grow, and we will continue.
Mm.
Mm,
Semicolon.
yeah,
Does not end. There's
yeah.
always more.
So good luck on your placement this week, Soph.
Thanks. Pray for me, everybody, please. It's going to be tricky. It's going to be tough. It's going to be full on. I'm going to be exhausted, but it's only 45 days out of my life. So I will make it. I will get
And then
through.
you
I
get a
will do
piece of
it.
paper. Yeah.
And then I get a piece of paper. That's right.
Yeah, it's good.
Woo!
Yeah. Yay.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everyone, so much for listening. We love you. Thank you for giving us all the love. If you want to connect with us more, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. Just search Adamstown Uniting Church. And if you'd like, please give us a follow here on Spotify. It really does help us. It helps bring all these people to our little corner of the internet that we have here. Well, have a blessed week, everybody, and hopefully I will see you next Thursday. George will see you, but I don't know if
Yes,
I will.
definitely.
Someone
Yeah,
will be here for you. We love you.
someone will be here. Thank you for listening and watching.
All right. Goodbye, everyone. Bye.